Hey everybody, Jazzy here. Well, Thursday, September 12th was an important day for Don't Starve Together. First, we had the Woodie Rework, which was the second such rework to change one of the original Don't Starve characters, the first being Willow. Along with this update came the release of a brand new beta branch, appropriately entitled Salty Dog. This is to be the second major installment of game updates under the theme entitled Return of Them. The first installment, Turn of Tides, brought to Don't Starve Together oceans, boats, and lunar islands. Salty Dog appears to develop further on much of the foundational groundwork that was laid out during Turn of Tides. And this first beta installment has added some very useful items, craftables, and mobs, so let's take a look at what just got added to the game. If you are looking to experience these features firsthand, I will add a link in the description for how to access the beta branch of Don't Starve Together. Salt formations can now be found on the open seas. They are not currently a part of world regrowth and as such are not yet renewable. However, they can be retrofitted on worlds that get brought into beta. Salt formations can be mined with a pickaxe to produce salt crystals. It's great. Rocks will drop from the formations as well, but immediately sink into the ocean. Thanks, game. Now, salt has a few interesting uses. First, you can apply it directly to food to delay the time until spoilage. A single salt will restore 50% of a food's spoilage time. This will not multiply when applied to a stack of food. So in order to restore 50% to a stack, you would have to add an amount of salt equal to the stack size. 20 salt to restore 50% to a stack of 20 food, for instance. Warley can use his grinding mill to convert salt crystals into salt crystals. Anyways, this spice can be used as seasoning in foods, and will add 25% additional health to the food's benefit. So a salty moqueca restores 75 health, and a salty pierogi restores 50. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the fact that Jazzy pronounced moqueca correctly. Okay, now we can move on. Salt crystals can also be crafted into a salt box, similar to an ice box with a few exceptions. First, it will reduce the rate of spoilage to 25% instead of 50% with an ice box. However, it will only hold certain food items. You can store raw foods as long as they have a cooked form, which means honey, cactus flowers, butterfly wings, ice, and lichen are not allowed. You must store foods in their raw form, so no jerky or cooked meats. And no seeds or imperishable items like tallbird eggs or deerclops eyeballs. Rot is fine though, whatever. So this will certainly be the preferred option for storing raw vegetables for longer. With meats, it's complicated. Raw meat in a salt box will spoil in 24 days. That is certainly preferable to cooked meat in an icebox, which will last 20 days. However, jerky in an icebox will last 40 days, so it's still the best way for storing meat long term. But if you don't plan on taking the additional steps for drying, then raw meat in a salt box is the way to go. Around these salt formations, you will find a brand new, incredibly creepy looking mob called a cookie cutter. These skeleton fish swim around until they spot a boat, at which point they will leap out of the water and dive face first into your boat's hull. If you leave them there for about 10 seconds, they will eat their way through your boat, and without a boat patch, you will sink into the salt water. Fortunately, you can fight them while they are lodged. They have 100 health and are pretty easy to kill. Just watch out for their tail, which can do 20 damage. Just hit them once, dodge their attack, then finish them off. They will drop monster meat and cookie cutter shells, 4 of which can be crafted into the cookie cutter hat, which is a nice little helmet with 750 durability and 70% absorption. Compared to a football helmet, you sacrifice a bit of damage reduction, but in return get more than double the durability. So if you don't plan on getting hit too much, this helmet will last you a lot longer. Now, as you're sailing, you might happen across a deep sea shoal with some ocean fish swimming around. I have yet to discover a way to catch these fish, as a fishing rod is not quite long enough. However, these shoals serve another very important function. They are where you can potentially find the Malbatross. Malbatross is a brand new boss mob, the first one to come along since Fuelweaver. Starting on day 28, it can spawn from 25% of the ocean fish shoals in the sea. This chance can be re-rolled by saving your game and reloading the world, so assuming she hasn't been killed recently, eventually you can spawn her at any shoal by continually saving and reloading. This is most likely a bug that will eventually be patched up just like my boat. Now, Malbatross has 5,000 health. She is initially neutral to the player, swimming around and diving in the shoal for fish. But when attacked, she engages the player. In her first phase, her attack does 75 damage and also hits your boat for 5 durability. It's possible to kite her with up to 4 hits. The problem is the boat gets pushed away with every attack, so be sure to drop an anchor to reduce the pushback. At about 50% of her health, she will dive into the sea and emerge at a distance from the player. This phase is rather annoying because she keeps spawning waves to push your boat away, and getting close enough to attack her even with ranged weapons can be difficult. If you have a pan flute or sleepy time stories, you can put her to sleep, which will give enough time to move in and continue fighting. You can also use ranged weapons during this phase, but you'll still need to move in range to fire off blow darts or cast your staff. At about 25% of her health, she will revert back to fighting you at close range, with an added area of effect lunge that deals 60 damage and destroys most structures besides steering wheels and anchors. It's a very difficult attack to avoid unless you have two boats next to each other. Eventually she will fall and you can collect her loot. She will drop tons of Malbatross feathers, raw meat, 2 blueprints, and her beak. The beak is an improved ore which can row with almost 3 times the force of regular ore, plus has 20% more use. The winged sail can be crafted from 4 feathery canvases, and the blueprint for both items are dropped from Malbatross. You generally get just enough feathers to craft 1 sail per Malbatross kill. So it's a bit expensive, but your reward is a sail that catches the wind quicker and can go twice as fast as a normal sail. That's all I've seen in the changes for this update. Please let me know in the comments if there is anything I missed. And to all of you wondering about the Woodie rework, I have to be honest. I have hardly ever played as Woodie in DST, so I would not be a good person to assess the value of this particular character's rework. If requested, I will gladly do a video to go through all of his changes, but I also figured there will be plenty of guides out there from players who know much more about this particular character than I do. It would also seem that many players, including Woodie mains, are not happy about this rework. Knowing how responsive Klei is to their player base, I anticipate some revisions to this character are on the way. So I might as well hold off on making a video until we know for sure what his features will actually be, and I can avoid giving you the wrong information. That's it for now. Massive thanks go to Demon Rebuilt and Swanky Samiad, with whom I joined on a first look at the Malbatross. Sam recorded the session, and I will post the link when he releases the video. Also, big thanks to Kinux for his data mining expertise, and everyone on the Klei forums who contributed information on this update. Please subscribe if you like Don't Starve Together guides and gameplay videos, and I will see you next time.